Superstar rapper Nicki Minaj announced on Twitter earlier this week that she would not be pressured into getting vaccinated against COVID-19, even if it meant skipping out on the Met Gala, saying, quote, "If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm working on that now." Minaj's accompanying salacious anecdote detailing her cousin's friend's supposed troubling vaccine side effect made plenty of headlines. However, so did the response. Major media and political figures, including MSNBC's Joy Ann Reid, England's chief medical officer Chris Whitty, and even Dr. Fauci himself, publicly accused Minaj of spreading disinformation and encouraging vaccine hesitancy. Let's take a listen.
And people like Nicki Minaj, I have to say this. You have a platform, sister, that is 22 million followers. Okay, I have 2 million followers. You have 22 million followers on Twitter. For you to use your platform to encourage our community to not protect themselves and save their lives, my God, sister, you could do better than that.
There are a number of myths that fly around with varying, some of which are just clearly ridiculous and some of which are clearly designed just to scare. That happens to be one of them. That is untrue. People, I regret to say, I think know that they are peddling untruths, but they still do it.
Okay, I wanted to pause it right there, and I want to start with Joy Reid. Okay, we know that she is pandering to the Democratic side, right? So, of course, she's not going to go against what Joe Biden or the Democratic establishment says. The same thing with Roland Martin. He is one and the same. She wants to talk about sister. Joy Reid is nobody's sister. She is not down for the community. She is down for herself. She wants to be in the good graces of the Democratic establishment. And for the record, I'm not Democrat or Republican. I mean, I see a sea of purple. I keep saying that, and I'm going to keep saying that because people will think when you say something, oh, you're a Democrat, and then when you say something else, oh, you're a Republican. No, right is right and wrong is wrong. And I don't identify with a political party. That's not a part of my identity. That's not a part of who I am. If that's you, that's fine. It's weird to me to have that be a part of who you are and speak on it so much, but no. We clearly knew what Joy Reid would say, but it's very interesting that they want to jump down Nicki Minaj's throat. The whole story about her cousin's friend, let's say he did get the vaccine. I mean, and let's say this situation did happen. I side-eye it, but let's say it happened. It may not have been the vaccine. It could have been something else as well. So you would need like medical testing just to check to see what could have caused this. I mean, we all know about side effects, and there are some drugs out there that have had some horrific side effects attached to it. We know that. But in his specific situation, I think he would have to undergo testing just to see exactly what could cause that if this situation happened. But she didn't say anything wrong. I don't see the controversy. I don't see why people jump down her throat. The only thing that I see is clout chasing. They felt like this is a celebrity. She has a big following. People know who she is. She has face recognition. So if they say something about her and try and paint her into this anti-jab person, which they are salivating looking for people who are anti-jab. They want to paint them with this label that comes with certain stigmas. This woman didn't say anything like that. She had been posting on her Twitter for a while, and she said she's been banned, but she had been posting, that if she wants to work or go on tour, she'll have to get it. She said that she's not going to take this one event to dress up for fashion at the Met Gala to get this. I mean, that's not going to persuade her to do this. And it shouldn't. The job should not, the opportunity should not persuade you to get something in your body. You should talk to a medical professional, and then you need to gather information if this is safe for you. You need to look into the different various jabs. I mean, you can go to the CDC website. You can do the research to look at it yourself, and you can pay attention to any side effects that people may be claiming, and some of this has been verified, certain side effects, but you have to do that research. You have autonomy over your body, and you can say what you put in it and what you don't put in it. So this notion that Joy Reid is pushing, that this woman has 22 million followers. I'm not going to Nicki Minaj to say, oh, should I get this in my body or not? That's offensive to sit up here and say that, oh, you know, I like Nicki Minaj. I like her music. She's a great entertainer. I'm going to go to her for medical advice. Are you serious? At one point, she even said that, you know, if you feel like it's best for you, get it. But I mean, doctors themselves, you know, let's say if you want to be healthier, they'll tell you to really research and look at, you know, healthy options and see what works for you. But you have to put in the work to do it. You know, there's a lot of things in our lives that we have to sit down and think about and then do what's best for us. But this, no, you don't need to think about it. Listen to the president, listen to the Pope, listen to Fauci, who I cannot stand, but listen to those folks. And let's put a bunch of celebrities up there. Listen to them. Oh, it's okay for certain celebrities to show themselves getting the jab to let you know it's safe. Come on, come get it. But it's not okay for this celebrity in particular to say, you know, be cautious and do your research and do it when you're comfortable, or make the choice to do it or not. Don't listen to that celebrity. Listen to these celebrities. Okay.
In my view, they should be ashamed.
How can health authorities even attempt to combat this kind of misinformation coming from somebody who is a huge and beloved international star like Nicki Minaj?
It's very difficult. There is a lot of misinformation, mostly on social media, and the only way we know to counter mis and disinformation is to provide a lot of correct information and to essentially debunk these kinds of claims, which, you know, may be, you know, innocent on her part. I'm not, you know, blaming her for anything, but she should be thinking twice about propagating information that really has no basis as except a one-off anecdote, and that's not what science is all about.
Nicki Minaj also found herself with another unlikely but very powerful ally.
Who could have guessed that rapper Nicki Minaj would turn out to be one of the bravest people in the United States? A couple of days ago, we would guess, most people who watch the show may not have heard of Nicki Minaj. And then she tweeted about the COVID vaccine. She didn't come out against the vaccines. She merely said that as an adult and an American, she should decide whether or not to take the vaccine. So here's the point that she's making. Probably a lot of things Nicki Minaj says that you may not agree with. You may not like her music. But the 2 points she's making are worth reiterating. You can't allow people to force you to take drugs that you don't want or that you don't need. It's up to you what drugs you take, period. And if you allow people to force you to take drugs you don't want, you're done.
And now Joe Biden is involved. Yesterday, after Minaj tweeted she had been invited to visit the White House to have her questions about the vaccine publicly answered, CNN's Don Lemon tweeted out that the Biden administration had only offered Minaj a phone conversation with a White House doctor and that no invitation to visit had been extended, which I think is a shame because that would be fun if she went to the White House. Minaj swiftly took to Instagram Live where she claimed she had been blocked from posting on Twitter. A Twitter spokesperson has since denied any action was taken to prevent Minaj from posting, which is actually interesting in its own sense. She also called out Lemon and Reed, suggesting their criticism of her had been coordinated because they're black. Let's take a listen to that.
Do y'all think that I would go on the internet and lie about being invited to the White House? Like, what? Do you guys see what is happening right now? Oh my goodness. If y'all don't see, it's not even surprising to me that they had to use one of us. Like I said, the first time they used one of us, she was the first person that was used. Now they just used this man to come out and put this thing out saying that I wasn't invited to the White House. Do y'all think I would lie about being like, what the who the
I'm a fan of her music, but it's, you know, she's saying they were all saying that she's spreading misinformation. I mean, this story that she told about the friend's cousin, whatever, is incredibly suspicious.
Okay, I'll go ahead and stop it right here. I just wanted to say I do believe her. I mean, what is the point of her lying about being invited to the White House? And she didn't say, you know, just inviting her because he liked her, but just to bring her there, talk to her about the vaccine, because she does have an influence. So to try and convince her to tell her followers, which a lot of them are black, to go ahead and get the vaccine and to maybe bring Dr. Fauci or a scientist or someone or a virologist to talk to her and quote unquote inform her about the vaccine, right? I can see that happening. And I don't see how it serves a purpose for her to go out and say, oh, I was invited to the White House and she wasn't. It doesn't make sense to me.
She was kind of just saying, you know, she's doing more research before she gets the vaccine. I don't know what's misinformation-y about that. Again, I would advocate her and anyone else to get the vaccine. I've said that 1,000 times on the show. But everyone went into full meltdown, and by everyone I mean the mainstream media goes into full meltdown mode about this. What about all the times misinformation was spread by the health officials, by Fauci himself, on Lab Leak and what else? Joy Reid, she initially said, I remember because I wrote about it, she said, well, I'm vaccinated, but I'm still going to wear 2 masks when I'm outside because my level of alarm is that high. If Nicki Minaj's thing counts as misinformation, why doesn't that?
I mean, I agree with Nicki Minaj that you shouldn't be doing anything, you know, making any sort of medical decisions based on coercion. If you want to go somewhere fun, well, then you need to go and do this XYZ medical thing. I don't think that that's right at all. I think she is very accurate to say, look, I am doing the research. This is something I'm going to do for me. I'm not going to do it because I want to go party. So I do think that's very accurate. As far as her anecdotal claim that everybody's really upset about, again, you know, I mean, look, I haven't heard of that one personally, but there are other sorts of anecdotes that were deemed to be misinformation, like the heart inflammation at first. I mean, I had a video removed from my YouTube channel for reporting on that, which then ended up being, and now it's an actual FDA, you know, warning. But also, you know, one thing that I will say is, and this has been really bothering me a lot, is that during the clinical trials, they never asked women about their menstruation. And now, finally, after all of these thousands, hundreds of thousands of women, in fact, came forward saying something's up. with my cycle. The European equivalent to the FDA finally launched an official study to look into that. And now I hear that there's reports that the NIH is finally looking into that. But those types of, but telling women this whole time, like, oh, none of that's real, that's all misinformation. And then now they're saying, okay, all right, well, maybe there's actually something to it, so we're going to look into this.
And also, we shouldn't be afraid of the line that, well, it's a private medical decision and you should talk to your doctor. Your doctor's extremely likely to tell you it's safe and you should take the vaccine. So people shouldn't be afraid. People in the pro-vaccine camp, like I am, shouldn't be afraid of that narrative, I think. Right. What do you think, Ryan?
No, yeah, and Kim's right that the menstrual reports are a good example of, I think, the way that misogyny works its way into the science sometimes. And nobody should have been surprised about that, because there's a relationship between the immune system. The immune system gets triggered by a vaccine, and that can influence the cycle. That we know that with the flu vaccine. This is not unusual. Yet you did have these hundreds of reports that became thousands of reports put into the system that were not being addressed by the government, which then creates unnecessary hesitancy and skepticism about the safetyness of the vaccine, rather than they could have been like, you know what, we're looking into this. We see this side effect with the flu vaccine. The flu vaccine is not going to kill you. There's no reason to think that this necessarily is something that's debilitating when it comes to this vaccine. But to just ignore it, then contributes to creating a vacuum that paranoia can creep into.
I wanted to go ahead and end it there because I agree with everything everyone actually said on this particular video. And going back to the whole thing with Don Lemon, look, I could get into Don Lemon, but I'm just not feeling like talking about him today because I could drag his ass. But it does seem interesting when there is a black person speaking. They'll go ahead and get their they'll go into the back closet and they'll dust off their black employee and put them up there and prop them up there to do their bidding. But all of this was unnecessary. And to me, like I said, it seemed like clout chasing. She's a celebrity. She's recognizable. They wanted to get their name out there for going against her and pushing against her. Didn't really work. It really didn't. I mean, if they could have sparked some type of heat and outrage, it would have been good for their career. Joy Reid and Don Lemon, two black people, right? But it really didn't pop off. I think it kind of backfired a little bit because she said nothing wrong. If you want to wait and you want to see how it affects other people, we're all individuals. We're all different. We don't know how it could affect us. Even if they say, oh, it's a small number of people that it will affect, it doesn't matter because that person's DNA makeup is different than yours. So you don't know what it could possibly do to you. You need to weigh your options. You need to think about it. You need to look into it. And the advice I'm giving and everybody else is giving is the same that I'm doing myself, because I have to, because I'm in the group of you need to get this or you can't work here anymore. So I'll go ahead and I'll leave it right here. Let me know what you think. Have you received the vaccine and everything is okay? Have you not? Do you agree with Nicki? What do you think about the story about her cousin's friend? Go ahead and leave that comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.